Hit them with your car. They are nasty vicious creatures. Back up over them to make sure they are dead. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out my very first book review. Today I'm gonna talk about The Urban Bestiary by Linda Haupt. Haupt? I don't know, I think it's German. So anyway, let's get started. So to start off, the first edition that I have read is the first edition, ebook version. This version came out in 2023 and it's written by Linda Haupt. Linda is a woman from Seattle, Washington State, United States. She's a professional author and she studied philosophy and natural history. She also did some field work or research on seabirds, I believe, and in her free time she is a birder, a very fanatic and passionate birder. This really shows in her book, a bit more on that later. And one of my favorite quotes out of the book already is when she describes herself as the Seattle eco mole hugger hippie. So a quick summary, I will go through the names of all the chapters and what they are about. So this book is divided into 4 parts, with the first part is mainly an introduction about urban animals. She briefly talks about what they face, the challenges they face, and what a bestiary actually is in general. So the second part, and probably the part why I bought it because of my own interests, is the second part, which is called The Furred. And you can maybe already guess what it's all about. It's about the furry animals. It's about mammals. It's mostly the most common ones in the American suburb, but every animal gets this chapter, and she really reviews on how people looked at these animals in the past and how people are looking at them right now. She talks about old legends, and maybe the most important, she gives an insight on how these animals live in our urban environment. So it can even open up your view into a bit of a new world that actually happens all around you. So the third part is all about the most common birds. This is maybe it is the most detailed chapter objectively in the book. She really talks about her with her own knowledge, and it's probably the most in-depth with a lot of the most information. So if you are a birder, this is probably the chapter for you, and you will probably have a lot of fun reading it. Last but not least, it's the fourth part, the final part of the book, and this part she chose to divide them into 2 parts actually. With one chapter, it's all about the trees and how important trees are, and what kind of impact they have on our environment. And the second part of the fourth part are humans. And in this chapter, she really is talking about our influence on the environment. And yeah, it's actually pretty negative. She even says that we really should be guilty of everything that we do, even like not separating your trash or anything, that you really should be guilty, or at least that's how I have read it. Besides making you feel guilty, she also really talks about challenges and problems that a lot of people are familiar with, and a lot of people are doing their best they can. Even though I read it a bit in a negative way, I still think that it leaves the book on a positive note. You know, it really will stick in the back of your head probably for, I guess, the rest of your life. So this book really is written in the author's perspective. While reading this book, you can really imagine how she would experience the encounters with the urban dwellers she mentions in the book. it also gives a good insight on the different perspective that she actually learned from her neighbors, because they uh, really look at animals in a different way. And maybe it's mostly true about the birds, but she really talks from her own experience in regards to the chapters where she has written about mammals and plants. Here she talks more about conversations that she had with experts from that corner of the field. It feels really like a trustworthy piece to read, but of course, me saying it's a trustworthy piece doesn't mean that you shouldn't fact check. I highly encourage you to, if you have the time, fact check actually everything. Just fact check it, because you don't want to spread things that you think it's true but actually isn't. But in my opinion, I actually didn't come across any weird stuff. Of course, there were some things that I just personally don't agree with, but that has nothing to do with facts, that has to do with my opinion. So, the book really has its own view, its very clear opinion, but this is no surprise considering the background of the author, of course. So in front of me, I have some quotes, some funny quotes that I picked out of the book, out of context. The first one is, the more we understand the wild animals that share our home places, the better we can coexist in safety, wisdom, conviviality, and delight. Well, this quote, I 100% agree. If people get scared, they do crazy things. Always make sure that people don't feel scared in every situation. So yeah, it's a strong quote. Next one. Hit them with your car. They are nasty vicious creatures. Back up over them to make sure they are dead. This one is of course out of context. But it's for you to explore what the context is around this quote. No creature demonstrates the human schizophrenia regarding urban wildlife better than the squirrel. We feel guilty when we don't recycle. We eat too much beef when we compare our consumptive lifestyle to those people who live so much more slimmly around the world. Here she basically addresses our consumptive lifestyle, and that we should feel guilty. And I love capitalism, so I don't feel guilty at all. Yeah. So guys, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching my very first book review. Please leave your feedback or any other thoughts in the comments, so I can improve these videos and my presentation skills, if you will. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment your feedback, subscribe, and of course check the Discord server. Join the Discord server. Join me on Instagram. Just follow the Northern Wolfie, the official Northern Wolfie Instagram, and I will see you guys in, I don't know, any other project. So stay tuned. Bye bye.